So, from the looks of this mono red deck, so he's got some interesting numbers in here. We've got 3 Ash Zealot, 3 Burning Tree Emissary, 2 Boros Reckoner, 3 Chandra's Phoenix, 2 Chandra Pyromaster, 3 Fanatic Amogus, 3 Firefist Striker, 2 Hammer of Perforos, 3 Perforos God of the Forge, 3 Madcap Skills, 3 Skullcrack, 2 Magrajet, and 2 Rakdos Cackler. Interesting take on the red deck here. Not really any particular plan with it, as opposed to some of the other ones, but, you know, it obviously can do its thing, and it attacks just as well as any other deck. So we'll see how that works out for him. Meanwhile, the mono blue deck, basically what you'd expect out of a mono blue deck. Yeah, this is pretty much identical to the original 60 of the mono blue deck that we featured earlier in the day. So yeah, that'll be this should be a pretty interesting match to watch.
They're waiting for someone to tell them they can start.
Oh. I don't have I don't have a microphone to tell them that. So the players are going to now get underway for our last round of Swiss. And I just dropped 4 Mutavaults onto the floor, which was kind of foolish. Thank you. Alright, so it looks like Chris is going to resolve a mulligan here. And Chris, of course, as I mentioned, is on the mono blue deck, so this is going to be a creature-on-creature matchup, and we'll see if Master of Waves can prove to be as good as he is. Ban Island. Nah, Island's not really the problem. Thassa's more so the problem. Island just lets you play those annoying spells. But if Island gets banned, then my control deck gets a lot worse, so I'm not okay with that. And it looks like we are underway. Cloudfin Raptor is going to be the opening for Goober. Chris Goober Parsons. Oh, we gotta fix this thing. There we go. Alright. And so it looks like, is Chris just on a one-lander here? I believe he is. One-land mulligan. And that is not going to bode well for him against the mono-red deck, which opened with Rakdos Cackler. And now it's going to go for a Madcap Skills onto that Cackler. And so that's going to happen. Cackler's going to come sideways. And Rapid Hybridization. Going to take that card out. So that is going to be replaced by a 3/3. The Frog Lizard. And alright, there is an island. So Chris can now start casting his spells. Goober, excuse me. So here comes the Frostburn Weird. And of course, that is going to evolve Cloudfin Raptor, who is going to come across for 1. So despite the Rakdos Madcap Skills start, Goober draws first blood with his Cloudfin Raptor. Is that an Ash Zealot? That is an Ash Zealot. And you see Joseph kind of presenting it, saying, "Do you got days? No? Okay. So here we go. 2 damage going to be dealt, knocking Goober down to 18. Frostburn Weird did jump in front of the attacking 3/3, of course. And it looks like a Cloudfin Raptor was his draw for turn. No third land, though. And it looks like we're going to have an attack. Yes, we are. Attack for 1. Joseph will get knocked to 18 by that. And Goober's just going to have to say go here. So he is representing Cyclonic Rift potential. Here's another land, and 4 mana. What do we got for that? And that is a Chandra Pyromaster. Alright, so Chandra is going to come in. Now, Chandra will nullify the potential block on this Frostburn Weird, and looks like that's what he's doing, indicating there. Chris will get knocked to 17 by that, and here is an attack for 5. So is he going to rift the token here? It's a play that I would not be surprised to see him make. There it is. Cyclonic Rift says, bye-bye, token. And Chris will drop to 15 here. And now just pass the turn, so... Cloudfin Raptor, they are good on turn 1. Post turn 1, you don't really want them. Goober has drawn 2 of them instead of lands. So he would probably like to draw some lands here soon. So there is another Cloudfin Raptor. And here is the other Cloudfin Raptor. And are we going to see an attack from the evolved Cloudfin Raptor? I presume we will. Oh, he's getting in with the Frostburn Weird now. This is aggressive. And the unfortunate thing is that the Chandra... oh, it looks like that attack was at Chandra, by the way, so Chandra gets knocked to 3. And the unfortunate thing is that that Chandra will be able to start picking off these unevolved Cloudfin Raptors at will if he so chooses. Alright, so this looks like a Magma Jet. And it looks like that went upstairs. Alright, so puts Chris down to 13. And there's a Fire Fist Striker coming down. Fire Fist is going to be able to help nullify some blockers. Alright, so upstairs, knock out a Cloudfin Raptor as expected. And an attack for 2. And it looks like Chris wants to decide if he wants to chump off his Raptor here. Opts not to. Is going to fall to 10.
Yeah, like, not the first turn, but every other turn you can get X off.
And there's a third land finally for Goober in the form of a Mutavault.
Because you kind of like... Yeah, but if you have a few mana available, you could risk it. Although it would really suck that it's not something you can't cast with a Storm.
And now Chris has to try and decide how he wants to navigate the turn. If he wants to try and kill that Chandra, he does have the ability to do that, assuming his Frostburn Weird goes unblocked.
And it said, play the top card of your library and deal. You may play it. So then if it was a land, you obviously played it, and then you flipped over the next card. If it was a counter spell, it was sitting there. If it was something like a removal spell, it was there, so you could just removal spell their card and then flip it over again. It was so powerful. And if you had shuffle effects, then you could use it. You could save the effect for whenever it's something that you can't use, you shuffle.
Alright, I think Chris is going to get confirmation on the ruling of Thassa with the Raptors. So Thassa itself is going to provide the 5th devotion, meaning I do not believe the Cloudfins evolve based on that. Thassa is not a creature until it's in play.
Well, they can never be asked. No way, they can't. What's the deal?
Every zone is so they can be at you can't
You can't be negated because your says no.
No, he said like counter target instance or
yeah, like it was
So here's the Mutavault. And it looks like that is what Goober was confirming was the ruling. And so we see no blocks declared, and it looks like the Chandra's going to bite the dust here.
So guys, you want to play now? Anyone list still in? Paul, come in. You were in two right.
Alright, and untap, draw for turn is another mountain. And 3 mana Hammer of Perforos. So, Hammer of Perforos gives all creatures haste, and of course he can sacrifice a land, which he has plenty of right now, to make 3/3 hasters. I wouldn't be surprised to just see him do that this turn either, because he doesn't have any cards left in hand. Yeah, and here it is, activation of the hammer. Golem comes in, and we are going to see an attack here. And the Firefist Striker is going to trigger.
I need you guys to fill that in for sign.
And of course that trigger is going to indicate Cloudfin Raptor, so that cannot block.
No, there is one other option.
And that hit knocks Goober down to 3. And there's another land. But I don't think it's going to be enough.
Yeah. I didn't know. I've never seen that before.
I don't know if that's what it is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't actually matter.
And there is Jace, the Architect of Thought, and that is going to tick up. So we'll prevent a little bit of damage here, but Goober is probably going to still have to do a little chumping this turn if he wishes to survive.
Show me your ID.
And of course a Fanatic Amogus off of the top would just do it. Alright, so we are going to see an untap and a draw. Looks like Goober is already thumbing through his sideboard. Madcap Skills going to target Ash Zealot. And Hammer is going to get an activation, making another 3/3.
It had Madcap skills, Titan Strength, Dragon Blade, Akron Crusade, and Founder Redemption.
And here comes the attack.
And Immediate Oil. It's like almost all the creatures are one-casting. The only non-one-casting was an Ash. No, and Arena. Wait, the deck is
I had this down.
coming off.
I got 16.
Something there.
Yeah, and that attack is actually going to do it. So that attack is lethal. Goober going to scoop him up.
In the last game, you kept him one land.
And Joseph Duke is going to take down game number 1.
And a dragon, which should help you, but he didn't actually get it. I don't know if he got it at all. I had such amazing shit in that game once I got started.
So game 1 is finished, so now we will move on to the sideboards. So we will start with the mono blue deck. The mono blue deck is currently showing 3 domestications, 2 claustrophobia, 1 rapid hybridization, a negate, a dispel, 4 gainsay, 2 Jace AOT, and 1 Jace memory adept. So the domestications, claustrophobias, seem like they're probably coming in the matchup. Those seem like they will do a good bit of work here in taking creatures and locking creatures down. Now let's look at the mono red sideboard. What does he got? The mono red deck does not have a sideboard.
I'm not sure what they're doing, like if they're...
Okay. This mono red deck does not have a board. That's interesting.
Let's go, Mark.
Okay.
Ready for Christmas?
And in fact, I don't think he sideboarded. So, all right. I guess he doesn't have any sideboard at all.
Absolutely. No.
let's get up early on Monday. And they'll probably still be busy, but just not asking. And if I absolutely need to, I have Christmas Eve. You guys drew? Alright, I should probably head on. Good luck, have fun.
Alright, so we now have the sideboard of the mono blue deck versus the no sideboard of the red deck. So very interesting.
I heard that guy talking before. I didn't realize it was the same guy. He just doesn't have a button.
I don't know.
Like, even if you don't. Yeah, let's just know. Like, you should have something. Just as a mono red deck, throw a bunch of. Even if you have no time to construct a sideboard, construct one. I can make a good red, a decent red deck sideboard with no rares on that. Skullcraps, active freezer, some other spot removal burn spell like shock or something to the firebrand or something. That's most of your board there.
Yep.
The stupid peak eruptions. You have peak eruptions in 4. That'd be really weird. A bunch of other decks including mine.
Alright. So, the mono red deck has been presented. Goober is shuffling up after sideboarding, and we will go to game 2. The mono red deck is up a game, but with no sideboard. Is that going to change into the mono blue deck's favor?
I don't know.
We will have to see.
I don't know if either one of those is in the
Now, Chris, of course, did have a land screwed start, so
Masters in the main deck. I don't know.
seven. 7-7. Let's see if both players will keep. And it looks like both players are content. Island go. I believe I see 3 land this time in hand for Chris. And there's a Tiebinder Mage. But he's going to lead on the Frostburn Weird, I'm going to presume. Because the Tiebinder Mage does actually hold some value to locking down green, well, I guess green creatures if you count Burning Tree Emissary, but all red creatures. And there's Firefish Striker. That gets locked down by it. So we'll see if that's the play he opts to go for this turn.
Right now, my girlfriend and her parents are driving to Quebec, and there's freezing rain.
And it looks like 3 mana. Oh, no, he's just going to deploy a Night Veil Spectre. That's a magic card right there.
Right on the border.
Night Veil, as I mentioned before, became very popular with the Devotion mechanic. Mono Blue and Mono Black are 2 very, very popular monocolored Devotion decks. Night Veil Spectre, very good in both.
You can do it in 1 day with 2 drivers, but you probably do it in 2 days, and so it's something like.
And it looks like we see a couple of Rakdos Cacklers getting played out. And pass the turn.
If the weather was awesome and it was in the summer,
Mutavault was the draw.
what some people would do
So the question here is Chris just going to slam a Master of Waves or not?
get up early, drive, and then switch drivers, and then just keep going, and then basically you've made it from PEI to Ottawa in 1 day, just one really long day, like 6 or 7.
So I think he's looking at the Tiebinder Mage. It's kind of awkward that he can't deploy both Tiebinder and Frostburn here. So it might be possible that he just wants to go into the Master.
Ferry ride from wherever is so ridiculously expensive.
It looks like he's tapping 3 mana here. Is he just going to play Claustrophobia?
Well, during around Remembrance Day, we came back to
So yeah,
Ottawa, and
Claustrophobia is going to come down, which is going to lock down the Firefish Striker.
North Sydney. Now, the ferry, during a lot of the times of the year, only goes to quarterback. So then we got off the road.
And are we going to see any attacks here?
The island.
Wouldn't be surprised to see the Night Veil Spectre get in, and there it is.
Up through Brook and Grand Falls and Cantor and all that.
Yes, oh, in fact,
And there is a mountain flipped to the Night Veil Spectre.
get off the ferry and quarterback. As soon as you get off, turn on the GPS. Someone's got GPS. The GPS says stay on the TCH Highway 1 for 890 kilometers.
I believe that is an Ash Zealot.
Turn right on the Luggy Bay Road.
That is an Ash Zealot, so a little bit of haste.
And when you get off there, you're already
Not
on
too
the
sure if there's a profitable attack
TCH,
here.
not the LTD.
In fact, I can tell you there's not a profitable attack.
Our drive was great
High-pitched
until
noise.
after lunch,
I don't know where the high-pitched noise is coming from.
Remembrance Day in the afternoon.
I don't hear one.
Like there were cars that there were a few cars ended up off the road. We were like 3 hours.
If it keeps up, let me know, and I'll see if I can figure out what could be causing it. So it looked like the Ash Zealot was played, and then the turn was just passed. So Mountain is going to be the land for turn. And I believe we're going to see Cloudfin Raptor Master of Waves turn.
Yeah. I think it's associated with the.
Yes, we are. Master of Waves.
You have to look at that and kind of figure it out.
1, 2, 3,
I don't know. I would be
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
the type of tournament that's worth traveling.
9 devotion. Alright, it is there. Just 1 second.
One of those, you fly into the city that's there, and you can play Magic all weekend long.
Alright, is it any better now? Is it fixed?
Some of them are very, very good side events.
There shouldn't be any high-pitched noise. There's no echo or anything.
Super Series tournament on the Sunday, which is apparently really good. And yeah, I just had all that stuff. I don't know if I would do it. I don't know if I would do it, but
How is it there now, guys? I'm trying to fix it. And I don't even know what it could be.
for sealed Grand Prix, well, you
Oh.
can't do that. I like playing sealed.
Well, there shouldn't be any feedback. You might just be hearing the people in the background. It's weird that some people are hearing it and some are not. I'll try and figure out what could be going on between rounds here. In the meantime, let's get back to the action that is taking place here. It looks like Perforos God of the Forge is coming in for our mono red deck. And the Perforos is it is online here.
Pro Tour Newfoundland. What do you think?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Pro Tour Newfoundland.
Okay. And so that's just going to end up being a pass the turn. What's funny is that the Frostburn Weird can lock down this Perforos here.
Frodo here doesn't make as little sense as all.
It was gone when I muted.
People travel for them anyway.
Yeah, and they're in locations. They're not always in very big locations. They're in they're kind of in like resort locations. To a certain
Making more use of the rack.
something that's nice to travel to.
Let me try turning down the overall volume of the
The
mic.
have to be in like August or September, but that would be the right time to do it.
All right, and we see the we see that the Perforos gets tapped by Tidebinder Mage,
Like, and my
and we're gonna see an attack here.
playing in that Pro Tour.
And it's an attack from everything, so... Oh, wait, looks like there might be a couple of elementals left back. Yeah, so 3 elementals are going to get left back on defense. Ash Zealot cannot block the Master of Waves. It is protection from red. Alright, that's better? Okay, cool. If it comes back, just let me know. It's still there. Well, I honestly don't know what more I could do. Like, I'll have a look at it in between rounds. Like I said, I'm not sure why all of a sudden there's a very loud noise. There wasn't before, and not everybody is hearing it apparently. You hear it now.
He would have made us unblockable. And I could have killed my Veil Spectre. And that fast would no longer be a creature. I couldn't attack. And I would have had.
Okay. Roger doesn't hear it anymore. This is very weird.
And I forgot to gain full life. Sort of the family.
So, anyway, back to the action at hand. Goober is very much ahead in this particular game. Master of Waves providing a pretty efficient body, and it looks like there's something going on with the judge here. Alright, it looks like that's going to be game over. Okay.
That's all I need to say. The card actually just. The next game I had.
Alright, so it looks like we're moving to a third and final game here.
I didn't have any like shots or like.
Third and final game between Chris Parsons, aka Goober, and Joseph Duke. The match is now tied, 1 game apiece. Of course, there's mono red on one side, featuring 0 card sideboard, versus mono blue devotion from Mr. Goober, which does feature a sideboard.
And if Goober wins, two mono blue decks. And actually, I've beaten
You never played Mono Blue.
I haven't played it lately, actually. I know how to do it.
Like that's really good against like Mono Red.
It would be really good.
Hey guys, can we keep the Firefox versus Chrome chat down a little bit here?
Both of us are going to put box of cards on the board, and we're not going to remove each other's stuff.
I'll have a ballot.
Right, I will start timing people out if this whole debate thing doesn't stop. Please stop with this whole internet debate thing. Let's just all agree that Internet Explorer is terrible and move on. So, Game 3 here. The red deck will be on the play for Game 3. So, you have to think that that favors the red deck in some respects, but at the same time, if there's any deck that it is ill-favored against, it will be the mono-blue deck.
I haven't seen them cast Biden today, but I can see what I just saw the sideboard put out or something.
Alright, so both players are drawing their opening 7.
I don't think Biden's super relevant to the issue. Plus, yeah, I mean, they might come up out against you.
And there seems to be a little bit of confusion here.
I mean, your matchup might kind
Not sure what's going on.
of stall.
Once we find out, we'll let you guys know. Okay, doesn't appears that it has resolved itself, whatever it was. And the players are going to begin the game. Land go. For the red deck, land Clefin Raptor for Mr. Parsons. And here's another land. We see a Burning Tree Emissary. Is he going to have a Burning Tree Emissary turn, or is it just going to be a Burning Tree Emissary?
Oh, you have the rainbow dash, Scott.
Okay, Firefist Striker is going to be the follow-up. Not too bad. And I believe that was a Night Veil Spectre drawn for turn from our mono blue deck, and it looks like he's got no 2-drop, just going to pass the turn back. This is round 4. These players are playing for the top 4 right now. They are both X and 1.
Oh, shuffle your deck.
And here is an Ash Zealot going to come down. And it looks like the creature's coming sideways. Cloudfin Raptor unable to block. And now it looks like they might be having a missed trigger debate. As that was a little bit late on the announcement. And yeah, they resolved that it was a missed trigger. So that attack will be hitting Goober down to 16 life. And I believe that the Night Veil Spectre is just going to be the play here. The next few turns could be very good for Goober. He could go Night Veil into potentially Jace into Master. He could just also go just Night Veil Master. That's not too bad either. 4 tokens is pretty good at doing what you need it to do. Of course, this Night Veil Spectre not going to stave off the offense from the mono red deck, because the Firefist Striker will, in fact, prevent that from blocking, so that is something. Oh, and there's a Hammer of Perforos, so any future creatures from the mono red deck are going to have haste. And here comes the attack, and remembering the trigger this time, the Night Veil Spectre will be unable to block. And there's a hit for 6 down to 10.
Yeah, and basically they have to come through that. And then, Cyclonic versus target Chrome, right? Oh, it definitely does. Yeah, so...
So I think Goober is just thinking about whether or not he wants to Master of Waves this turn or not.
Okay.
Certainly wouldn't argue with the play.
They can chump it with a that'll come up.
He could also lay a Jace here, which would stem a lot of the bleeding. Unfortunately, he's already at a pretty low life total.
I'll just disable Combine next.
So, Goober is really in the tank about this one. The Master of Waves play gives him 4 tokens currently, which will stop the aggression for the most part from our mono red player. The problem will be that if he does that and then goes into a block, he will in fact get blown out by a Skullcrack. An interaction that has come up recently with that is that Skullcrack, as part of its text, reads that it gives prevents people from preventing combat damage. Basically, combat damage can't be prevented. Protection, part of protection, reads damage prevention. Alright, and Jace Architect of Thought was the play for turn instead of the Master of Waves, so Jace comes down, ticks up. So that is going to turn the attack from 6 down to 3. But we'll see if he decides to aim it at the Jace, or if he's just going to go upstairs. Wouldn't be surprised to see him just keep going upstairs at this point in the game. Not sure if he has a 4th land either. And it looks like we're just seeing a hammer activation here. Alright, this is kind of greedy. Alright, hammer activation. It looks like he really wants to kill that Jace. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's an attack for 5.
Okay, I'm pulling back the first. Oh, I think I know. I think you go SE underscore.
And yeah, he aimed it at Jace, so Jace is gonna fall.
I'm paying attention to so
Alright, domestication was the draw for turn. So it looks like he's pulled the Master of Waves to the front of his hand, and he does lay the mountain. And there's the Master of Waves coming down for 4 tokens. And Master of Waves going to be looking to do what it does.
Yes, I think that's the right play was.
him being at 10 is like 10 is too high, right? If he could have just he could have done 5, he could have done 5 to rock with 5. He's a burn spell and maybe burn spell or so.
So I think what's going on right now is that Goober is contemplating an attack with this Nightveil Spectre. And I actually don't hate the attack here because the Nightveil Spectre is just going to get nullified by this Fire Fist Striker. No matter what the case, if he decides to attack. So he decides not to. He decides make him do it.
How much was all those? How much did you get for all those?
And draw for turn. Is it now number 3 land? Since he did sacrifice a land to the hammer last turn. Again, that was a play that I don't know I particularly agree with. Bringing yourself from 3 lands to 2 when you missed a land drop. Now he can't even activate the hammer. He's likely just going to have to say go here, honestly. I don't know if he can attack reasonably into this board. Master of Waves just has produced too many blockers. It looks like he's got an Ash Zealot that he's looking at here. And there it is. Ash Zealot. And it is going to come into play. Has haste twice. Oh, and he is going to turn sideways here. Alright, this is really aggressive. Nightveil Spectre can't block. And now it's time for Master of Waves to do some damage. And what I mean by that, of course, is that it's time to eat a lot of creatures on the board and cost Goober virtually nothing. So, I think the block that I would make here is that an Elemental is jumping in front of the Fire Fist Striker regardless. It's possible that he wants to... actually, it's almost definite that he wants to double block this Golem here. So I think the block should be maybe double block on the Golem to kill that. And then single block with the Elementals on each of the Burning Tree Emissary and Fire Fist Striker. And then Master of Waves, of course, jumps in front of Ash Zealot. Then it's Master of Waves, Nightveil Spectre versus a single Ash Zealot and 2 lands. I think that would very much favor Goober in that exchange. So it looks like Goober is indicating the blocks on each of the creatures without First Strike. And let's see if he's double blocking on this Golem or not. I almost feel like he has to do the double block on the Golem here, because the Master of Waves does not have protection from the Golem, but it does have protection from everything else. And looks like he didn't. Looks like he just chumped the Golem. So that Golem is going to stay alive. Although it's possible he's planning to just domestication the Golem next turn. You also see, of course, that there's a Thassa in hand, which could do some damage. Another land drawn. So we'll have to see now where he decides to go with this. He does have access to a play such as Frostburn Weird, Domestication. He could also Domestication, or I'm sorry, lay Thassa and Frostburn Weird, if he so chose. So he's pulling 3 mana. It looks like he's going to go for the Thassa here. There she is. The God of the Sea is going to come in. And then Frostburn Weird is also going to come in. Alright, so deploying a few threats here. And is there going to be any attacks? I'm thinking that there should be at least an attack with the Nightveil Spectre. Try and get a little bit more gas from the red deck. Of course, Goober does already have 1 mountain, so he can cast a lot of cards from this red deck here now. Oh, geez. This is a very aggressive attack. Master of Waves, Elemental, and Nightveil Spectre all coming in. Now, to be fair, though, Thassa is still around, and there is another mountain exiled. Joseph would have liked that. And he's just going to say go. I think the judge is indicating please keep the the card underneath the Spectre. But apparently that's not the case. What are these players doing for time here? Get the... Plenty? Okay. So, should have plenty of time to finish. It looks like the land was finally drawn, and Chandra's Phoenix is going to be the play. Goober's going to take a quick look at that. Chandra's Phoenix does allow him to attack in a little bit, but that Nightveil Spectre does kind of nullify the Phoenix, and as does the Domestication currently in Goober's hand. Chandra Phoenix coming in. Now, looking at the board, Joseph is at 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, Goober just has a lethal swing here if he does this correctly. Alright, and it looks like we're going to the bottom. And land is going to go on top. Alright, so now it's time to think. I'm pretty sure that if... Let's see. Well, maybe he doesn't have a lethal attack. Hang on, now let me see. Lays a land. Thassa makes herself and the weird unblockable... No, okay, that would bring him to 1. Alright, so there's the land. And it's possible he's just going to go with the Domestication here, probably on the Phoenix. And the camera is going wild here. So, into the tank we go. Alright, so here comes Thassa and the Nightveil Spectre. No unblock abilities have been indicated. So, it looks like we're going to see some blocks. And it looks like he's thinking about putting this golem somewhere. Golem gonna get in front of Thassa. Alright, so that's gonna go away. And Goober says, alright, take 2. So he drops to 10. And it looks like we're going to see post-combat Domestication on the Phoenix. So no more attacking me with that, says Goober. And I think we're just going to see it pass the turn. We are, so I think this is it. I think this is Joseph's last turn here. And he has to draw something really, really good. I'm not sure what he can draw, so land. But Fanatic Amogus isn't even lethal right now. Neither is Perforous God of the Forge. Though it is online, it does not do anything to end this game. I'm pretty sure we're going to see Goober take this down. And here's a pass. And I think Goober's just doing the math, and I think he's now realizing, hang on, you're dead. Oh, there's a Master of Waves, just for good measure. Just in case it wasn't lethal enough. Although, to be fair, he doesn't even need to deploy that. He just has to unblockable some creatures here and say, oops, you're dead. So, let's see. He makes Thassa unblockable, makes Elemental Token unblockable. He doesn't even need to make the Elemental unblockable because the Master's already unblockable. Yeah, just unblockable Thassa, attack with the Flyers and the Master, and that's game over. Of course, Fire Blast, not in this format. There will be none of that.
Fire Blast 4.
Fire blast.
The old, the old.
So it looks like Goober is thinking about this pretty hard here.
That was easy damage.
2 mana.
How did you do that when you get it back?
And it looks like he's just making things unblockable here. Yep. And that is exactly what he's doing. He is making cards unblockable.
I wanted to. How much damage does this do?
Everything's unblockable. Here comes the attack. Here comes the lethal swing.
And here's the lineup and the pitch. Ooh, that's ball 2.
And there's the reveal of the hand, and that's going to do it. Alright, so Chris Parsons, also known as Goober, or more commonly known as Goober, actually, is going to take the match 2-1. Mono Blue does defeat Mono Red. So, it looks like our top 8... What happened in the other win and in?
Top 4.
Top 4, sorry, yep. So, did Alex win?
Alex, yes, I believe that he did, yes.
Okay, so we believe that Alex Buzan with Mono Blue Devotion also won his match. So it looks like our finals is shaping up to be Mike White on Red Devotion, splashing green. John Smith with the Orzhov aggro deck. Goober, Chris Parsons on Mono Blue Devotion, and Alex Buzan on Mono Blue Devotion. So that is the structure of your top 4 from the looks of it. We're going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, the top 4 will be starting. So stick around, guys. We'll be back shortly.